sponsored by Riverside.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to GORP. This is the podcast where we talk about a subject and we grab out of the bag. It's just like a mixed variety of things on theme, and the theme this time is the 90s. My name is Josh.
I'm Julie.
And I am Frye.
But we're also joined by the mighty and powerful producer, Taylor.
Hello.
So, yeah, we're talking the 90s. First thoughts? Want to just grab out of the bag now, or?
Well, first off, I need to just show you a few things. Since this is the 90s is the topic for this podcast, I'm very excited. I have my vintage Spice Girls clear tote bag thing.
Is that
It's
about
going
to
to
spice up our life?
our podcast.
I'll tell you what I want.
This is actually my old what you really want?
Yeah, I want
Can you
that
tell me what you want?
So this is actually my old ballet bag when I was a kid in the 90s.
Nice.
So I thought it would be appropriate. And then also, I thought it would be very much appropriate that I wore this lovely Backstreet Boys DNA World Tour shirt that I got yesterday when I saw them in concert. Coincidental and very appropriate. So, it was awesome. It was
Were they back?
They were back all right.
All right.
Did they show you the shape of their heart?
Yes, they did, actually.
Probably their
They
best
did
song.
sing that song. Not even. Definitely not. But they did play that song and it was wonderful. And I'm very excited that I get to cross that off my list.
Very cool.
So,
I brought
let's
a
get started.
beanie baby. I got a crab beanie baby. So
Oh,
that's
cool. Is it valuable? Do you know?
What's his name?
No, the tag's ripped off.
What's his name?
It's so old. I don't know. It's probably not worth.
Oh, then it's
more
not
than
worth
$1.
anything.
Oh yeah. Well, none of it is like.
Time out. You don't still name your stuffed animals?
Princess Diana's like collector's edition for her death, which was, by the way, really tasteless. But everyone expected it to be like worth thousands, and it's worth like $30 right now on Amazon.
Can we talk about how Broad City made fun of Beanie Babies in one of their episodes?
I missed that.
The
episode.
girls go to one of their old childhood homes to clean out their kid room because the parents are going to do something else with it, and they find this Beanie Baby. I shit you not, it was a Jean Benet commemorative Beanie Baby marking the anniversary of her disappearance. And the whole joke throughout the episode is that it's worth like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh shit.
There's so much to unpack.
But that's basically the same thing. It's like, okay, this is a bear commemorating the death of a princess.
And it's worth so much money. Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Do we even know that she's dead? She could still be alive. She could be chilling with like Elvis somewhere.
You're gonna find that out for us, huh, Frye?
Yeah.
Do some research while you're there.
You know what? Yeah, I've always wanted to be a private investigator. You ever heard of Google, idiot?
Our first topic for today is fave 90s cartoons.
Ooh.
All of the topics.
Hey, Josh, you go.
Doug, all day.
Wow.
That's my answer, Doug. Why?
Why?
Well, okay. Doug,
but why?
No, I'm not talking about this. Just kidding. Doug was actually he's one of my he's one of my biggest inspirations for my art throughout my life. Such a cool show. It's like really big on the world building and the flashback scenarios. It made fun of itself constantly. It was weird. The beatboxing, I didn't realize that was beatboxing until I got older. Like the whole soundtrack is beatboxing. Or acapella.
I mean, the thing that I always really...
I feel like you're burying the lead, Josh.
What was
burying the lead?
I feel like Josh ran around his house with his underwear over his shorts.
I went as Quail Man for Halloween.
Quail Man.
I'm jealous.
You gotta.
There we go. There we go. Sorry, Taylor. I think I cut you off.
Oh, I was just gonna say the thing that I really appreciated about the show is the storyline. Not only the fact that it has this very like fantasy element to it, which helps kids kind of like see their dreams and aspirations and stuff, but the storylines were very rooted in like realism and getting through high school and being a kid. And I miss that about TV shows. I feel like a lot of 90s TV shows did a really good job of kind of that life lesson growing up as a kid thing.
And a lot of them
I
too.
mean, I don't watch too many kid shows now, but I feel like a lot of them are like more just rooted in the fantasy element of like, let's be influencers and like teen pop stars, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think
Josh, what were you saying?
I think there's an amount, but I'm not sure if it's as much as the 90s. Well, like Doug, like you said though, like the characters are so well carved out. Even if they only have one episode that's really about them, they're so insightful. Like a good Simpsons episode. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, Doug had a great storyline.
Can I piggyback off that? Yeah, what I was going to say is, in through my lens of today as an adult, I feel like it broke down a lot of barriers that we don't even consider. Because if you really think about it, one, he was in a biracial relationship. He was in love with a black
Patty
cartoon
Mayonnaise
girl,
black?
right? He was a white male cartoon character.
No.
Yeah, and his best friend was blue.
No, she wasn't.
Was
black.
Patty Mayonnaise?
Well,
You better Google Patty Mayonnaise, and you better Google the.
But I think the whole point of Doug was that nobody was supposed to be any real discernible like race or color.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
It broke
right.
barriers.
Everyone was just a color.
In that way, like, hey, look, we're all different, and we all go to the same school.
There's a Nickelodeon documentary that talks all about Nickelodeon and how they brought a woman in to really break all those barriers. It's a really good documentary. I think it's on Hulu. But yeah.
Are you talking about the Orange Years?
That might be it. That might be it. I think you're right.
I saw that documentary.
It's really good.
Sounds right.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because when you say 90s cartoons, I feel like people are so quick to jump to like the kids' 90s cartoons, and why wouldn't you? Like Rugrats, Courageous Cowardly Dog, the Powerpuff Girls. There are so many amazing 90s cartoons, but I want to take a pause for a second and talk about the adult 90s cartoons because they are so good. Am I going to hit you with what?
Beavis and Butthead.
I was going to hit you more with like a Beavis and Butthead, Daria level of animation.
There you go.
Or I'll do you one
Daria
better.
was great.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh shit!
Bring it back.
There.
Claymation.
It's time.
It is not time.
I think the adult 90s cartoons are like the pinnacle of 90s cartoons. They even gave us South Park.
Yeah.
To this day, one of the best cartoons on TV.
Yeah. And it's still hot. Like it's still hot.
Okay, so which one are you going with? Which one is your 90s cartoon choice here?
I really want to say it's Beavis and Butthead because of how nostalgic it is for like me and my siblings and my family growing up. Also, they're coming out with another movie for Paramount Plus.
Yeah, the movie.
I'm very excited, and I'm also nervous, but I'm excited. So hopefully it'll be really good because the first movie was awesome. Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah,
the movie's great.
Very influential show
go on
as
a
well.
cross-country trip to Las Vegas. Well, it's DC actually.
Yeah. Julie, were you like me with Beavis and Butthead? Where you just walk around as a child being like, I am Cornholio. Whatever he does, you have your shirt over your head.
For my bunghole.
I also think that Beavis and Butthead is such an important like statement of the 90s itself because it's not only like amazing like television animation that is so relevant to the time, but it also has the presence of music videos built into the show. And what could be more 90s than that is the showing these awesome rock music videos in between your sketches. It's awesome. And then they brought it back in the 2000s. And they didn't include the music videos anymore because of like licensing rights and stuff. Or maybe they switched the music videos. I'm trying to remember, but they did it differently and it wasn't as good. And I was sad.
Julie, what was your cartoon?
I mean, I watched them all. I watched them all, which makes them all extremely special and all very generic all at the same time. But I just remember the ones that disturbed me, like Ren and Stimpy, like utterly
Ren and
disturbed
I was
Stimpy.
me.
gonna say,
Ren and
there were
Stimpy was
so many
sexual
kids
assault.
shows that were, like, not for kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really messed me up. And
Mhm.
Cat Dog was
Songs
so
too.
weird. And
Cat Dog's
what
weird.
up with the Tick? Do you remember the Tick? It was like a
Oh, I love the Tick.
superhero.
Yeah, of course, with
That
Arthur
was
the
such a
I
fun
think that
Mothman.
was
show.
a
That's
little
so
before me, I don't remember it too much. But
yeah.
Oh,
It
the
was
Tick
such a
was
good show. And
I
the
will
great.
remake,
say,
the live
though,
action.
I believe that is plagiarism, my good sir.
I definitely think that a key aspect of, like, kids' 90s cartoons is that they're secretly not
For
for
kids.
kids. So you like Ren and
Yeah.
Stimpy, Rocco got pretty racy at a number of times. SpongeBob SquarePants has been noted that it was originally supposed to be for adults and then was changed into a kid
Yeah,
show.
because didn't they have all kinds of LGBTQ undertones in SpongeBob SquarePants? Like Sandy was originally supposed to be like lesbian, and SpongeBob and Patrick were supposed to be like
I
a
don't know the
thing.
details of it, but I do remember either watching a video or reading somewhere. It was initially written as like an adult show, and then they changed it into a children's show. But I just think it's
That's love.
interesting. You have a lot of these shows, and that's what makes them kind of great. And
Yeah.
I think it speaks volumes when you have something that can span generations in the sense that, yeah, a kid could watch it because they're not going to understand the things that the adults are going to understand, but the adults can enjoy it equally as much as a result.
There's so many, like, I'm appreciating more like the stuff that is like universal or like transgenerational, like fun, you know. And I don't know if this really fits, but I'm thinking like the Animaniacs, like the little things that never last, kind of like the Cornholio Bungholio thing. But like with
Oh my god, I love
Animaniacs, remember,
Animaniacs.
like I want to push the button, you know, like
Yeah.
or or Ducky
Yeah,
go
it's a
down the
sketch show.
hole,
From
Teepee
It's
go
a
down the
sketch show.
hole, like all that fun
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh
Like
yeah. But
I just
that's where Pinky and the
yeah,
Brain
yeah.
started too,
hmm
right, Julie? Pinky and the
But
Brain
Animaniacs
was.
it's
also
so
had
good.
like
I love it.
really
Were you
it
saying,
also had like
Josh?
really heartfelt skits. Remember the one where it was like the golden gift wrapping paper, and there was just a whole sketch about like this tragic life of the gift wrap at Christmas and the life it lives after
I was gonna
like it
say
was an
it's always the Christmas episodes where they get so hard on like your emotion.
yeah,
Like
they
you
really
watch
hit
this
you.
show all the time to laugh and watch them be ridiculous, and then every year at Christmas, the '90s cartoons do this thing where they're like, "Let's rip your heart out for this episode." Thanks, Hey
Yeah.
Arnold.
I'll be super quick with mine. I think it's a little off the wall because I was more of a live action kid. I loved cartoons, but I was like Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, Power Rangers, right? But because we're pushing time on this subject, and I want to get to the next subject. I'll be quick. I had like a All American what is it? All American Rejects, where my dirty little secret was I'd stay up late and I would watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Like I was like a rebel,
Adult
you know. Oh, this is
Swim.
my late night talk show.
Ooh,
Look at me as a
getting
10-year old.
racy as a
Yeah,
kid.
I'm breaking the rules. I lean back in my grandma's recliner with my glass of water, pretend it's the beer action, and I'm watching a talk show
Space
with
Ghost
Space
was the
Ghost.
greatest talk show ever. Period. And there's never been a better.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast was amazing.
It was the best talk show of all time. It's the best talk show of all time. That's it. I'll fight anybody. It was so good.
My favorite thing when I think about it now, again through an adult's perspective, is it was kind of between two ferns
I
before
love that
Between
show
Two
so
Ferns,
much.
right?
It was just
I've
absurd.
not really seen Between Two Ferns, and I don't really remember Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I was not big on the Adult
Okay.
Swim
So
back in the day.
Oh, you should just YouTube it. You'll find a celebrity.
if
Yeah.
you pull it up, you'll
It's
see.
great.
All
It's
right.
great.
Because our next topic is Biggie versus Tupac. So first, I have to ask, who's a Biggie fan? You gotta raise your hand if you're Biggie over Tupac.
Biggie over Pac.
All right. Does that mean you two are Tupac over Biggie?
I like them both.
Got the California love.
Well, I love them
Okay,
both.
but it's a war.
Biggie,
You gotta pick a side.
no, that's not what it's about.
That's just
We
my
learned from
spirit.
this. We've
It's my
grown.
spirit. Yeah, we learned from it. Thank you.
We
Yeah.
grow.
We're better
No more
for it
blood.
Why? Why is it your spirit,
now.
Julie? Tell us. Tell us why it talks to
I'm a
you.
huge fan of polarity and seeing from both sides of the situation. So I just have mad respect. They were both trying to achieve the same goal. They just, somebody was pitting them against each other.
I really think that I mean, it was of the time, and there was a real blood rivalry, and people died. Um, but I think
No, they
the whole
didn't.
comparison is apples and oranges. Tupac had 10 albums out by then. Biggie had one before he died. Like, why would you
Mhm.
compare two artists like that? It's so ridiculous. Like, Tupac he was living in his studio. He had 300 songs that were unmade after he died. Biggie, they scraped out an album and a half. Like, now Biggie is a fucking wizard, and he gets sampled. He gets sampled to this day constantly, and I think he is my favorite of the two, by far. But Tupac,
When you say
they
it,
weren't even.
Mhm.
Go ahead, I'm done.
when you no, when you say it like that, Tupac was way better. Even though your argument was to say Biggie was better, you saying it like that, like, yeah, I'm thinking now about all Tupac's music. He was a magician. Like, that's good shit. Okay.
I didn't actually realize how much music Tupac had made before he passed. Um, and now that you're saying that, I can't even really think of that many Tupac songs, but I can think of a ton of Biggie songs. And like I thought I liked Biggie more before, but now I'm realizing that
Mhm.
yeah, that's probably true in essence. And that's not to say I don't like Tupac. He makes great music, at least the stuff that I know, but that's just it. I can't really think too many Tupac songs that I actually am aware of.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah, same.
I was gonna say it's really Biggie will fit in at any party you go to. Like any playlist that's going, you can slip a Biggie song in there. And I think even young folks in the crowd, the youngins, the little chillin', they will even be like, "Oh shit, I recognize this song. Oh, what is a 50 screen TV? A 50-inch screen TV? Why is he excited about that? I have that in my bedroom." You know, it's a total 90s rap, right? What Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was growing up, man, I couldn't picture this, right? Like
It was all
now
a
we're thinking about
dream.
it, we're like,
Yeah, Tupac was rapping for his neighborhood. He was
Tupac was
rapping for his
what, Josh?
neighborhood, and he was rapping for his lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and he was an extremely influential person and a fucking poet. He had so much good shit. However, Biggie put down on the mic, dude. That's
Yeah.
that's all there is to it. Biggie put down.
Also, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed because Biggie also figured out a way to rap just by talking. He's not actually like doing anything musically for the most part. He's literally talking through the track, but it sounds so musical
Yeah.
just by how he does it.
Yep. That's
It's
true.
great.
But Josh said something. I don't want to just leave before we move on to the next topic. I think you hit a key point. Whereas Tupac was more of the poet, right? He was more of the common, and then you had Biggie that was putting out like jump tracks, like
Or
Jay
Lil
Z,
Wayne.
things
Yeah.
like that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Lil Wayne. Well, even Lil Wayne was. That's I guess when Lil Wayne got really popular is when he started putting out the
Right.
jump tracks. But
Right.
you always had let me know, like, man, he did other
No,
stuff
you're
before
right.
that.
You're right. Yeah. When he did Lollipop, that was all for the world music.
Yeah, it was over.
Is it Baby
Okay.
Spice?
Yeah, it was over after that song came out.
Our next topic is
Oh.
the great outdoors.
Oh, hell yeah.
I
Can
think
I
you
go?
should.
Sweet.
So whenever I think of the great outdoors, I think about riding my bicycle or walking over to a friend's house and knocking on their door to see if they're home, and be like, "Yo, your parents answer the door, so is
Yeah.
little Jimmy home, or is such and such home?" And then you like get together and you guys just walk around to other doors and be like, "Yo, is so and so," and you just do that till you get like a group of like 5 friends, and then you kind of go like, "So what are we gonna do? We're all out of our house now. We got to do stuff outside." And you just like walk around the neighborhood. Remember, like you when you look back on your childhood area, you probably didn't grow up in the best area, but you were always outside,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah,
always.
that's epic. That's how we're trying to raise our kids now. But I grew up with like acres of woods behind my house. So me and my brother were outside in the woods all the time. My parents didn't need babysitters. The woods babysat us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
right there with you.
I remember like living in the neighborhood where you would, run outside, go find your friends, and then go do whatever you did. And then I
Mhm.
also remember when video games and technology started to really become prevalent in my childhood, and there would be this push to like get your kids to get up and go outside and
Oh
play
yeah.
outside. Every year, like Nickelodeon would do this thing where one day out of the year, like during the spring or whatever, they would have a day called Get Up, Get Out, and Go Play. And they would stop their programming for the entire day. They wouldn't play anything on TV. It would just like have this message up on their screen for the day to encourage kids not to like sit at home and watch TV and go outside because it started to be an issue.
There was one commercial when I was a kid, and I was a big Madden fan, right? I love football games. And it would come on, and it would be during the football games, and it's exactly what you said. It was like this fat guy sitting on his couch wearing a Michael Vick jersey with Cheetos on his shirt. And it's like, he'd be like, the team would score, right? And because he was so fat and lazy, was what the commercial wanted us to think. Like, that's our impression, is this is what an unhealthy person looks like, because we were all idiots back then, and we don't realize, like, healthy people come in all shapes and sizes. He gets up and he starts to dance, and he's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah," and then he runs out of breath like 30 seconds, and he puts his hand on his couch. He's like, and then it pops up a big head like, "Go outside, you lazy pricks!"
Oh my god!
But even the kids like TV shows back then were very geared to being outdoors. There were all these like, shows that were the purpose was to have kids like running around doing weird things outside. There was a show called Wild and Crazy Kids where
Oh
they would go to
yes.
a mall or like a park somewhere and have like kids compete in weird like challenges like
Dude.
potato sack races or dumb things like that to like be active and be outside.
Yeah.
Josh, go, because you're about to
Sorry.
explode.
I used to be near tears when that show stopped playing, like at the credits, because I wanted to be with those kids so bad. I love that show. They're having so much fun.
You remember
Yeah,
Bug Juice,
for
Josh?
sure.
Do you remember Bug Juice? Yeah, I wanted to go to that camp so bad. Like, and the 90s theme song so on point. Bug Juice, it doesn't come in a jar.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It was nuts.
And they had a lot of like active kids shows in the sense that they had a lot of like competition shows where the
Oh
purpose
yeah.
was for kids to
Legends of the Hidden
be like
Temple.
super active. Legends of the Hidden Temple is definitely what I was thinking of. Guts, Global Guts.
Guts. Global
Do,
Guts.
do the
Guts.
heaven.
I'm Mike O'Malley and I'm coked out.
Remember, who will climb the
aggro
crag?
sag. Yes. So these were like shows that the whole purpose was kids would compete in active competitions. With Guts, it would be based on the Olympics type of things. They would have like swimming or rowing events and basketball events or track type events.
Because Summer Sanders.
Oh yeah.
Summer Sanders was one of the co-hosts.
No, she wasn't. Mike O'Malley was the host.
She was the person, the sideline.
That was some British lady named Mo.
Mo. Yeah.
No, Mark Summers was the host, and then Summer Sanders was like the interview girl.
No.
And she would like
you are
interview the
thinking of a
contestants.
different show. Okay, so Mark Summers was Double Dare.
Double Dare.
Summer
I'm thinking of
Sanders
Double Dare.
was the host of a different game show called Figure It Out. And then Guts had Mike O'Malley as the host, and he would throw it to Mo, who was this British lady that had like a red, like dark brown red hairish bob. And she would like explain how the events worked and what all the kids would have to do. And then she would like, on your mark, get set, and then she'd blow the whistle. Do you remember?
Yeah. The contestants would have to.
Yeah, the 90s were all about getting kids to like be active.
Yeah, for sure.
It was great. I loved it. I loved all those shows. I wanted to be on every one of them.
Yeah.
We're missing one that could have like related to what Julie was saying. And I also, when I got to high school, because obviously I lived in the city before high school, I had about 23 acres behind my house that my grandfather left to us in his will, right? And so, Julie, you know what one really keyed in on me when you brought that up is going outside. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I fucking love Are You Afraid of the Dark is one of my favorite 90s shows of all time. I actually purchased a couple seasons on Amazon because around Halloween time, I always feel the obsessive need to watch a few episodes, including the pool monster episode, because it is the best episode. So I had to
It's
have
such a
it
good show.
readily available to
There's
me
so
at all
many
times.
cameos.
Also, I had to
Gilbert
show my
Godfrey was in
boyfriend
it.
because he
It
had
was
not
a great
seen it.
show.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
he was.
What's that, Josh?
Yeah, and then who's the guy? The
remember
cute
that.
kid from Titans.
Well, I was.
The Notebook guy. He was on it.
Oh yeah, Ryan Gosling. He was
he
he
was
was
on
in an
episodes, yeah.
episode.
But I just remember, like, when I say, like, when Julie brought up camping outside and everything like that, that's what I thought of, because, like, when we were teenagers, like I said, we just went outside. We weren't afraid of, like, we're going to get shot or stuff. We'd go outside, right, and we'd build our own campfire, and you'd sit around that fire as teenagers.
I had an older sister
ahead,
that
Julie.
was, like, really super gullible. And so at night, one night, we had a stool and a little, like, one of those thermoses that they used to be big as fuck. I don't even know how to explain it. But anyways, we put a little hoodie on it, put it outside, and then like was like, Mary, there's someone out there, and she would like freak out. And then we like every so often we'd go out and move it closer and closer, and she'd be like, "Oh my god, it's moving! Oh my god! Oh my god!" We'd fuck with her because that's just what we did. That's how we entertained ourselves, is harassing my oldest sister.
May I tell a story, not to one up,
Hell
but because
yeah.
you reminded me
Bring
of something
it.
that happened when we were outside? So we had some friends come up from Livermore, which is like a suburb city, right? And it was their dad, Marty, and he had 2 sons and 2 daughters, right? Ashley, Kayla, Nick, and Jake. And they were just family friends. And they came up to the mountains where I told you I had like 23 acres. Well, we had a little creek, right? And in this creek, there were like
Crawdads.
tadpoles and frogs. So we're like, we got to go out. And they'll freeze with the flashlight, right? And when they freeze, you can catch them. And my father had so my father had snuck behind the meadow, right? And he came crawling down and he started going and crawling, and everybody takes off running, right, including me. And I was the fastest one at the time out of all these kids, and my sister's running behind me, and she's like, Brandon, take my hand, and I was like, run faster. And then her friend Ashley, it made my dad feel bad because her friend Ashley just collapsed and was like, this is where I die.
Fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
She just bopped.
Play dead. It won't think you're worth it.
Yeah, she just was. And it's funny because my dad, I still have this image of him trying to carry her up the Meadow Hill because she was like in tears crying. She thought her life had ended right in that.
That's so great.
Awesome.
See,
So,
okay,
yeah.
I think
It makes me sad, man. These kids, get them outside so they can experience all this stuff.
A little past the age where our parents would just let us go wander into the woods. Not that there were any woods around me. I'm from the beach, so it's very flat where I'm from. There's not many places to wander off and get lost. But I definitely grew up in the age where I would watch Are You Afraid of the Dark and be like, yo, these kids can just go out into the woods at midnight and tell scary stories. Like, my mom is not okay with that.
Yeah, 90's is weird. I had a similar thing as y'all. I mean, in Bossier, it's like half woods, half city. So, well, not really a city, you know what I mean? But we would have like 5 to 10 kids that would just find each other, and then like we'd jump the train, just see how far the train would take us, and walk to the mall.
That's
and
so
like,
cool.
We were going in ditches and exploring people's backyards, and yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Stealing their fruit.
Well, we were notorious for like
all of that.
One of us had a Swiss Army knife, so it had the saw, right? So we'd go into people's trees and just cut off branches and make swords, and then just beat the shit out of each other. Anyway, that's all.
Josh is like, and then we smashed his head on a rock.
Yeah, R.I.P. Wendell.
All right. On that note, our next topic is board games / rainy day games. So I guess the opposite of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
What do you do when you can't go outside, Frye?
Frye?
Julie, you have like 17 daughters, right? So, or children. What is it the same as when we were kids?
Well, so my girlfriend really likes games that like let's talk about how you're feeling. And so, yeah, no, they're nothing.
He's just tricking you into
No, let's break
therapy.
ice.
That's not a
They're
game.
They're nothing like. I'm like, can I sit out this game? I don't have anything in me. I'm tired.
Julie, you know that if you're not throwing the board by the
Right,
end, you are not playing a
exactly.
board game.
So, like, the games I grew up on are like Mousetrap, which was badass. Like, I don't know if you ever played that,
That
but
was a
like,
pain in the ass to set up.
it was a pain in the ass
Yeah.
to set up, but
Yeah.
to do
And
it
it never
and
worked
come to
properly. Did you
completion.
ever actually get it to work properly? Like, did the
Not
mousetrap ever
really.
go off the way it was supposed to?
You
Never.
had to help it out.
I can't
Help it out
remember. I
sometimes.
feel it. Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little bit. A little bit.
It was the
great.
adventure,
It was
right,
great.
Julie?
It was great.
It was the
It was
adventure.
all those fun, hungry hippo. Like, you just never, like,
Yeah.
it was
Oh
so
my
good.
God.
There was
I don't know.
one.
Dude, they have one at Dave and
Yes,
Buster's
yeah,
now.
yeah,
You know that,
yeah.
right?
One.
Yeah.
And
They have a
it's
Hungry
so
Hungry Hippos
freaking
at Dave and
hard.
Buster's.
It's so hard.
Did you guys always have
Yeah.
to be the same color hippo? Because I always had to be the pink hippo. Like,
No.
end of story.
Adapt to survive.
Yeah, green.
Yeah.
I
was the youngest. I got what I got.
Adapt and survive.
Yeah. We had this
I
game.
got what I got
we
because
had
I was
this
a
game-
baby.
I don't know if y'all heard of it, but it's called Nightmare. It was a VHS game. So there's some 90s for you. You had the board, like the board and all the pieces and stuff, but you put
That
in a
sounds
tape.
dope.
You put in a VHS tape. For everyone listening, that is a DVD player. Oh, sorry, it's like streaming. Yeah,
It's like a cassette,
player.
but movies.
So anyway, yeah. So it's like
a Netflix choose
like
your
a-
own adventure.
it's like a interactive board game. So it was like this dude who's the gatekeeper, and it would just be his face. Yeah, it looks
so
like
cool.
that. So this gatekeeper would come on the movie, and he'd be like, "So I have it all memorized. You want to play the game, my game, you know?" And you have an hour to beat the game. And every once in a while, he'd pop up, and he'd go, "Stop!" And he'd like throw out rules like, "Whoever rolled last, take a card," and stuff like that. But he got more and more scary as the game went on, and like eventually, he's got like glowing eyes and there's black lights on him, so he's just like, And you have to beat it in an hour or else you go to hell, basically. And that's how we felt when we played it every time. Like, we have to win. This is so scary.
They made fun of games like this on Community. There is
Oh,
an
really?
episode where two of the characters are arguing about who they want to invite to be the third roommate in their apartment.
Okay.
And in order to decide, they're like, we're going to play this VHS board game to decide who gets to pick the next roommate. And it's like this Western themed game, and you're watching them play, and the rules make no sense. And the guy on the video is like randomly popping up and screaming instructions as the game is going by, and you're like,
Yeah. There's YouTubes of it. If you can find a clip, throw it in there.
It's called Nightmare.
Nightmare is what it's called, and it's an Australian guy, and I guess he's a notable actor in Australia back then. It's really poorly produced, and it's not a good game, but it was scary when you're 7. Like, yeah,
everything is.
So, when I think of 90s board games, the only one that prominently pops into my head is a game called Splat. I don't know if you guys remember this game. I might be the only one who remembers this game, Splat. I don't even really remember the rules or how it works. I just remember that the box set came with a bunch of clay tubs and this little mold where you would mold your own game piece to move around the board. And you would eventually, if somebody landed on a spot or like pulled a card or something that said Splat, the game came with this plastic foot that had an imprint of like a splat mark, and it said Splat. And when the person landed on that space, someone else got to smush their game piece. And my sister used to make like perfect spider game token things. She'd be so proud of them. It was like difficult. It has these little, you couldn't always get the clay into the press perfectly, but she would do it perfect all the time. And she'd be so proud of it, and just to fuck with her, we would just smush them. Like Julie said, being an asshole to your siblings was how you spent the 90s.
It really is.
Yeah, my brother was awful.
What about video games?
Oh,
Like,
wait, we got a new topic coming.
Dude, don't even get me started on 90s video games. Okay, Sega
Sega!
Genesis, like Aladdin, The Lion King. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sonic
Yeah.
the Hedgehog,
Man's.
Contra.
Good.
Oh,
So you can play
I
all
think
these
Sega
games
Genesis
while
was my
you're
ish.
eating
Mortal
your
Kombat.
90s snacks. Because 90s,
90s
snacks
snacks
were the
like
best
GORP?
Like GORP?
Ew. Good old
and I feel like
raisins
that's
and
been around a
peanuts.
lot longer.
Yo,
No, I think number one is Go-Gurt, right?
do you guys
Dunkaroos,
No.
*1.
was Go-Gurt
Oh, yeah, that was
90s?
I'm
nice.
sorry.
Was Go-Gurt 90s? No.
Bugles,
Bugles. You put the bugles on
Okay,
your
that is the
fingers
only thing
and you go,
Bugles was
I'm
good
a
for,
witch.
was putting it on your fingers and acting like a witch, but they
Yeah.
tasted like cardboard. So, awful. And then the clear winner is clearly Gushers.
Gushers.
Is
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Gushers.
Yeah.
Gushers was
Fruit
fantastic.
by the foot.
Gushers fire.
Oh, yeah.
The fruit by the foot. Yeah, the 90s commercials were better than the actual snack for the snack.
Oh, man. Double mint gum commercials?
Yep, bubble tape.
Yeah.
Guys, we're just naming random
Yeah.
products.
Big
We
League
got to
Chew.
focus on
Remember
a
Big-
product here.
I
Remember
know.
toilet
I'm so
paper?
sorry, but Mentos. I was just about to
Mentos.
say they had the best commercials.
And they're always super happy.
Mentos better.
It's always like a super straight commercial too, am I right? It's like a guy chasing a girl and he's like, how am I gonna get to her if my breath doesn't smell good? And he's like skateboarding through 7-Eleven and he finds Mentos and he's like, now I could go ask that girl out. And right before he asks her out, he turns around and goes, So why Gushers, Taylor?
Why not? They're
Why
so
Gushers?
Quintessential, delicious 90s snack. I cannot think of a single elementary school, middle school, high school that did not have Gushers in them in the 90s. They're just delicious. They're gummy. The 90s really perfected like gummy snacks.
Lunchables.
So
The cafeteria. Did any of you guys go through a broke ass kid candy phase where you had those like circus peanuts and the Swedish fish and like all the really disgusting candy, but it was like 25 cents a pack?
okay,
so you could
Swedish
afford
fish
it?
are delicious.
No,
Circus
none of
peanuts
you
are
had to go through
disgusting.
that?
Let's not put them in the same classification.
They're terrible. They're terrible. But like they were 90s kid snacks. You'd walk into like the gas station, right? And you'd have like $1 and you could get like a half a pack of M&Ms or you could get 3 things from the poor broke ass kid candy section.
My go-to for 75 cents was an IBC root beer, just a little glass bottle. That was my gold back then. But yeah, the Gushers, I think you're right, and they did master the gummies for sure.
Yeah, so you had Gushers, you had Fruit by the Foots, you had fruit roll-ups, and they got very inventive with all these things throughout the 90s and into the early 2000s because they were trying to always keep you coming back to buy their products, so they would do weird things to the fruit roll-ups or the Fruit by the Foots to make them more enticing. Like they started putting the tattoos on the Fruit by the Foots, which they still do. They still do that.
With Fruit by the Foot, they used to have the full map of the Mario levels, so you have like a guide for the Mario games.
Oh, that is so cool. I don't remember that, but that's awesome.
I'm sorry,
you
aren't
open
Mario
it up.
games just like a straightforward shot, like you just follow the path and get through the
It's a
game
scroll.
for the
No.
most part?
So yeah, you
No.
saw where the bad guys are. You saw where the secrets were. Oh yeah, they were. The old Mario 3 and stuff.
Yeah, the secret.
Yeah, but like Mario 3 was like,
Yeah, but you could go through the pipes, and there was like different levels in the pipes, and you could go up, and there was like hidden up pipes where you ended up in the
Yeah, but
clouds.
it's really
but I
just,
mean,
like,
like,
3
for the most
levels.
part, you just follow the path, you get through the game. There's no, like...
yeah, it's left to right. So like Fruit by the Foot was perfect because it was like a
You guys are thieves
scroll.
of joy.
You know, that's the intention. I'm not sure if you knew this. That's the intention of this podcast, is to take your joy.
I will say they always had that one level, though, in Mario, where if you didn't go through the castle in the exact correct path, you would just,
Yeah.
like, keep going in a circle.
Yeah, then Mario 3, right?
What were you going to say?
I don't remember. That was like Super Mario Brothers.
Julie was going to
Deluxe.
say something a second ago.
Oh,
When it
yeah,
came to
Fruit
Gushers.
Gushers
no,
and Gushers
I mean,
and-
we are talking about candy. I forgot. Well, my like the most like unexciting candy ever is like those big sweet tarts that come in pack of 4, and you don't remember those?
What?
Like
The big
they're like the
chewy ones.
chewy sweet tarts. They come in
Oh
packs
yeah,
of 4.
big
and the-
fat ones.
and the
okay.
and I would buy the whole. No, they're
Smarties,
Sweet
right?
Tarts, and the only ones I liked were the green and the
Sweet
red. But
Tarts,
I'd buy the
okay.
whole pack just so I could get the green and the red out of it.
What about Shock Tarts?
No waste.
Because fuck lemon
I
and
love
grape.
Shock Tarts. I still eat them, but they're not called Shock Tarts
Shock
anymore.
Tarts were
Now they're
great.
called like Sweet Tart Sours Extreme or something like that. They rebranded them.
Warheads.
Yeah.
Warheads.
Warheads. We forgot about Warheads. Warheads were like the essential 90s candy when I was in elementary
you gotta challenge
school.
your friends, man.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, my sister?
Yeah, but remember, like, people would drop Warheads in like water and soda and stuff to make their water and soda like sour. And they had like the cool little logo on the Warhead with
now
the guy
I do
like
that with my vodka.
Yeah.
My sister was such an asshole. So the first time I had ever had a Warhead, my sister walks up to me and she holds this blue candy out in front of me and she goes, "Here, eat this. It's really sour." So I hesitate and I'm like, "It's really sour." And I go to put it in my mouth and I'm sitting there for a second and I'm like, this isn't sour at all. Like, it's really sweet. And then she looks at me and goes, "That's because I licked all the sour off." That was the first time I ever had a Warhead.
Your sister's a dick.
What did we just say the 90s were about?
Yeah, right. Just being mean to your. You want a Choco Taco? I ate the taco.
Oh my god, Choco Tacos.
Oh, you know, it was a good
one. Yes.
They used to have this one. I think it lasted a month, but they had a whole cartoon commercial for it, and it was like almost like a zebra cake, but the whole gimmick was the mascot was a polar bear, and they're so good he takes a bite out of every one, so there's like a bite mark in every cake, and that's why it didn't last long.
Oh,
but it was really good.
That reminds me of the what? Oh shit! Now I can't think of it. The one of the Hostess commercials where the shark would come and eat the inner tube because it looked like, what was it called? What the fuck was it called?
Was that Gummy Savers or something like that?
Or
shoot. I know what you're talking about.
In the 90s.
No, it wasn't gummy. No, it was.
I know the commercial.
It wasn't a gummy candy. It was like Hostess. It was.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you just because you're saying sharks and 90s snacks, like I just feel like I have to cut in and really quickly say my actual 90s favorite snack, Shark Bites.
Shark Bites.
The greatest gummy candy to have ever existed on the planet that they no longer make to my knowledge.
Shark Bites.
If they do, let me know.
Were those the white belly, Taylor, with the blue top?
No, it was like they were like little fruit snacks. There were different flavors. There was like red, yellow, orange, purple fruit snacks, but they were shaped like different sharks, and then there were like scuba divers and little treasure chests. I'm gonna find a picture of it.
Yeah,
because they were the best gummy.
Yep.
Do you guys remember when we were talking about how the 90s like was poison all over our mind? Well, I thought of something while Taylor was saying that I searched during COVID. Pardon me, I should have muted myself. My bad. Anyway, yeah, that was a dick move by me. So, you guys remember like the cigarettes that were gum and you could act like you were smoking?
Yeah.
I remember the ones that were like a weird chalky sugar.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I'm talking. And they're trying to poison our minds. I bet if we looked really deep into this, that was like made by cigarette companies that are like, oh, we're going to get them hooked young, right? Because they also had the beef jerky that you could imitate chew with.
And it's
they literally make Big League Chew. Is that?
Yeah, Big League Chew.
Yeah, and Big League Chew, which was like Big Red or Red Chief, or what was it called?
The chewing tobacco.
Like the chewing tobacco was like Big Red or Red Chief or something like that.
Yep, Big League Chew.
I found a picture of it. I'm going to share this.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Everybody's very excited.
It's coming.
No. So there it is.
Yeah,
I've never had that. I don't know what that is.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh God, they were the best things that ever
So good.
Why is there a random child sitting by a above ground pool?
I search Shark Bites gummies. And I don't know, they're shark tooth necklaces.
Made with real fruit.
Google. I don't know. All right, let's.
When they say made with real fruit, that means like
made with real fruit. Wait, did you see that picture
of the girl?
Go ahead, Josh. I'll say what after you go.
Was when it says now it's ruined, but when it says made with real fruit, that means there was a fruit in the room. They were with the fruit when they made. But anyway.
All right. And on that note, we're going to start wrapping up, but we do have 3 untouched topics left. I figured I would just let you guys pick one if you want. So our 3 leftovers are fashion trends, Janko jeans and bucket hats, boy/girl bands and pop music, or 90s movies.
Ooh. I'm gonna go fashion trends. I'm gonna do it.
All
right, then go.
Because I want to talk
we
about
let Julie choose and she chose wrong.
I want to pick. Well, I feel like we could have gone on for another hour with 90s movies, so I'm trying to be nice.
Hey, maybe we'll have a part 2. So
there we go, a whole one dedicated to 90s movies.
Revisit. Yeah.
I just remember
that was a sweet way of saying. Bleep you, Frye.
Go F yourself. And I love you at the same time.
Fashion trends, though.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, it was all the rage, at least because, again, from Arkansas, and so we're behind on everything. But we definitely, all my siblings wanted to walk around with baggy pants. And I just remember because, my parents were divorced, and so we'd go see my dad on the weekends. And he'd be so upset with our baggy pants. He'd say, "Why don't you just go get yourself some colors?" Like, we need to go join a gang.
Oh. I was like, what?
Wow.
Because you were wearing baggy pants? Because you had your pants sagging?
Yeah. We're from Arkansas.
Yeah.
So
I
that always repeats in my mind.
Baggy for life. All day baggy.
Yeah. Oh, we'd say.
And when it got trendy,
boxers,
I couldn't afford the pants, so I had to go to Goodwill and find pants that didn't fit. They're still baggy though. So look who's laughing now.
Some of my favorite 90s.
They were all corduroy.
My favorite 90s fashion trends are mostly shoe related. Platform shoes. Check. Yes.
Sure.
Still
Big
into
time.
those very much so. And Doc Martens. Yes.
Nice. Birkenstock.
What about the jellies?
Oh my God, yes, jelly sandals.
Yep.
I was looking for a pair of jelly sandals recently. I shit you not, because I'm in it again.
They're gonna destroy your feet.
Converse?
Point of jellies.
Oh, jellies.
They're just for fashion.
Yeah, that's true. You don't remember the jelly sandals, Julie?
I was.
Me neither.
I do remember.
But do you remember them? You could buy them at like Albertsons would carry jelly sandals, and you could just buy jelly.
I never stepped foot in an Albertson, so no. But I just don't remember them.
The ones that had it was like a closed toe sandal. It had like a crisscross kind of toe situation.
I need a share. I need a share screen.
You need a visual aid.
I've heard people talk about them.
I'm gonna find them. I got you.
They were so popular, Julie.
They were bag full of jelly.
I ran around with my shirt off with my brother, so
I didn't play,
and we didn't wear shoes.
All right, I got you.
Yeah,
Josh, it came in different flavors
when I was a kid.
All right, can we see them?
When
I was a kid.
Middle school.
Wow.
Yeah, that's them.
Or like these guys.
Oh yeah, there they are.
You know, like these red ones, these purple ones.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's funny, they look jelly-ish, but what would you really call that material? Like, what is that?
It's just plastic.
Like
oil.
Yeah, it's like straight plastic, right? Like translucent plastic.
Yeah, it's rubber, some kind of rubber.
It looks like it stinks.
I think it's called environmental change.
That's all I'm saying.
It's called unsustainable.
Yeah.
Okay. Not my favorite fashion trend out of the 90s, but did love them. Love me some Buffalo platform sneakers. Hello, Spice Girls. Need to throw that out there. Those were like the big, chunky, like 4-inch sneakers that they would wear. I own a pair of those. That's how obsessed I am.
Nice.
And then Steve Madden. Can we talk about Steve
Steve
Madden?
Madden.
The football
What do you know
person?
about Steve Madden?
No,
Yeah.
the shoe designer.
No.
So he went to my high school, actually.
The football person.
Am I cute?
I'm cute.
Do
You're very
you guys
cute.
remember the black Steve Madden sandals that had like a stretchy top part and it was just like a black platform that all the girls had? That was a huge one. I loved those shoes. I owned those shoes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Julie?
No.
I'm gonna.
She's like, I want to support you so bad right now, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Man, I was broke like Josh. Like Josh, do you remember Bugle Boy?
I had a bunch of Bugle Boy.
What?
Where'd that come from? Walmart?
What is Bugle Boy?
That was like the poor kids.
It's just a brand.
It was like McFrugals when I. Yeah, but it was like the Walmart of the time. It was called McFrugals, which you could just reach in a bin
That's
of $5 shirts and find like Bugle Boy.
Frugal.
Okay, I have visual aid incoming.
All right.
Oh, here comes
Steve
the Bugle
Madden.
Boy.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, Steve Madden, not Bugle Boy. Okay, that's
Or
probably.
just it's Steve
Yeah,
Madden.
we don't need to see the Bugle Boys.
Do we remember these shoes?
Oh,
yeah.
I do remember.
Oh, I do remember those.
I do remember those.
Those are like
Yep.
very no doubty, you know. Very cool.
My sister had those. My sisters wore those.
No Doubty was such a good description.
I'm gonna
note.
find
I
a picture
could
of Gwen
picture
Stefani
Gwen
wearing these
Stefani
shoes.
being
I'm gonna
just
find
the
a
girl.
picture. Yeah.
It's perfect.
I bet she's got them.
I love Doe
Also
Down.
reminds me
Oh,
of
we didn't get
the
the
Craft.
music.
The whole Gothic witch thing.
Oh.
Is my shit.
Oh God, the Craft.
That whole vibe. I love that vibe. And you know, that's awesome.
I think the Craft is the reason why I was attracted to Gothic girls all through high school.
Since forever. You have black lipstick on. I'm intimidated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
Yeah, it's some good stuff.
Oh man, it just had.
Josh, what was your
my
style?
I was raised in a mostly black community, so Tommy Hilfiger, is that what it's called? Hilfiger was big. I always wanted to get those overalls with just one strap. Just one strap.
Sean John.
You leave the other strap hanging because that's what's cool, right?
Oh my God.
I only had one pair and I wore them out quick. Yes. I really wanted to.
And those brown boots, right, Josh?
Jersey, but we couldn't afford it, so my mom found a LSU jersey for a lot cheaper. And then,
how much FUBU were you wearing back then?
Oh, come on. And then middle school was all Dragon Ball shirts, of course. You know, that's how it went for me.
Okay,
good stuff.
Nice.
All right.
The overall was the ugliest trend of the 90s.
Again.
Don't ever say that again. You're so silly.
Overalls are making a comeback, dude.
They'll never
you
go
ever
out
seen
of style.
A really pretty girl in overalls? It's incredible. It's incredible. It's like a summer dress, kind of.
And yeah, it was weird. I saw a really pretty girl in overalls, and she was less pretty because she was wearing overalls.
See, the 90s taught me that, like, if you put overalls on a really pretty girl, then they'll look ugly, is what the 90s tried to teach you in the movies. Do you remember She's All That? Is that's what it's called?
She's All That, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Right.
She's
where it's like,
what about like the whole 90s
here's this girl, I didn't
trend?
realize how pretty she was because she was in glasses and overalls, but now she's taking it off and she's gorgeous.
Thank you for pointing that out, Taylor. I love when shows make fun of that. I love when shows like, oh, all of a sudden she's beautiful. How did I not see it before?
What about the fashion trend with women, like on Friends in particular? They popularized some of it, I think, and like Lilith Fair, where you just wear a grandma dress, and then that's what you're wearing today.
It's called cottagecore chic.
There you go, cottagecore chic and a bowler cap, and then like now you're trendy. I kind of liked it. It's weird. You know what I mean? It's a weird trend.
That's so weird. What's funny, I know we're rapping and I apologize, but when Taylor brought up She's All That, you know what the 90s like had me thinking when I got to high school was going to happen is I was going to go to all these really cool giant house parties, and in She's All That, I don't know if you recall, the black gentleman goes, "Yo, do that do that dance I showed you. And like the whole high school is at his party, which is like impossible in reality. Like you cannot get a whole high school in one house, right? But they're all at his party, and then Fat Boy Slim plays. Check it out
Funk
now.
Soul Brother.
The Funk Soul Brother. What up? And they're all doing this dance.
That
like
was-
they all just know it by heart. I'm like, that's gonna be so
That was
cool.
prom
Go ahead,
night, though. That was at the high school.
So when were you planning to go and reherse these dances?
No,
there was
for
that
these
was-
parties?
there was a
That was at
different
his
party,
house.
Yeah, right.
and at
The
that
cafeteria.
party, it was when he did the he did a different dance to a different song. It was that one kid. What was his fucking name from the real world? He was like pretended he was in the movie. He was in the real world. Yes,
Matthew Lillard's character.
And
Matthew Lillard's character.
He did his own little dance to that one song. What the? Well, now we gotta.
And it has
No, I
the
gotta Google
crybaby in it. Remember, he does the crybaby on the
yes.
floor.
Matthew Lillard. I'm looking it up right now. All right.
Yeah, SLC Punk,
All right.
his best performance.
Thanks for joining us this week. Hopefully you'll come back next week for another episode of GORP. Keep an eye out on social media. Maybe we'll let you know what the topic is for next week. Follow us on social media at GORP Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, review this podcast. I'm Taylor Stone at It's Taylor Stone on all the things.
Josh, J.R. Berkeley at on the gram. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm Julie at Julie Reagan Instagram. That's all I got as well.
And I am Frye, and you could follow me at The Sad Fan on Twitter and at The Sad Fan on Instagram. Thank you again for having me.
Love you. Bye.